Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dr. Deuce and it's great to be back with some more great audio production and music technology tips and techniques for you. Now today we're going to be covering a topic that's pretty important and will apply to many of you out there. Now today's topic is the art of recording vocals at home. Now first off, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of my recent video on setting up a home recording studio. Now this video is really important because it covers a lot of the things, the key tools that you'd need if you're setting something up at home, whether you are a straight ahead beat maker, an artist, performer, engineer, or someone who records small bands. Okay, so make sure you check that one out. There'll be a link on the screen at some point around here, so you can link there now, or you can always go back to it later. Now there are two more videos I really encourage you to check out. The first one is all about gain staging, and the second is about setting appropriate levels to avoid clipping and distortion when recording audio. Now I'm not going to go into that too much right now, but again, the links for all of these videos should appear on the screen at some point, and certainly at the end of the video. Make sure you check those out. Now for today's subject. Okay, so I've got everything set up, got my microphone set up, my audio interface. I'm also going through a small compressor for this particular recording, the reflection filter and pop shield, all in place, ready to go. However, before I actually start recording my artist, there are a few things that I always encourage my artists to do, and I think it would be a good idea for you to maybe work this into your own practice. Now, first of all, you're working with a vocalist, whether it be a rapper or a singer, always try to get them to warm up their voice. Okay, now with a singer, as you'll see in a second, it's always good for the singer to do some scales, maybe some arpeggios, or whatever practice or techniques they use for warming up. That's something that you should definitely try and encourage. It can only benefit the recording, and with a properly warmed up voice, you'll actually get a better performance out of your vocalist. Of course, for certain rappers especially, sometimes it can be an interesting effect to get that raw, coarse, husky tone where a voice hasn't been warmed up, but I wouldn't really encourage it too much because the vocalist could end up damaging their voice. So warming up is always a good idea. Now the next thing you want to do is make sure that the microphone and the pop shield are adjusted properly to suit your vocalist. In your previous session you may have had a 6'4" rapper in your booth, and now you've got a 5'6" singer. Completely different approaches are going to be required, and therefore you want to make sure that these things are sorted out. Also, you probably want to do this yourself. You might have a very expensive microphone on the stand and a vocalist who's probably never touched a mic before. It might be the case that you don't want the vocalist to actually touch the microphone, so take your time and get that set up so that everything is correctly positioned for the vocalist standing in front of the mic. Now another thing you want to make sure of is that the switches on your microphone are correctly set. Now if you're using a microphone with switchable polar patterns, make sure that the pattern is set to Cardioid. You might also want to consider engaging the bass roll-off switch, because if you're capturing vocals, you don't really need anything below 80 Hertz, so I always engage the bass roll-off switch. The other thing you might want to consider, depending on the performer, is whether or not to use the pad switch. Now if you've got a vocalist who's going to be really belting it out, really loud vocalist, you might want to switch the pad on, because there are times when certain microphones do actually distort. So engage the pad switch to attenuate the level going into the microphone, and that will certainly help avoid some level of distortion. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is make sure your vocalist is actually positioned correctly in front of the microphone. Now we've already set up the pop shield and the microphone at an appropriate angle. However, you want to make sure that the distance that the vocalist is positioned from the microphone is suitable for the performance you're going for. If you're looking for a nice full vocal, then a few inches from the mic will be cool. However, if you're looking for something more intimate and smooth, maybe you want the vocalist to draw a bit closer to the mic or closer to the pop shield. Okay, so as the producer engineer, you want to make sure that the vocalist is aware of those simple techniques as well. Now before we start, here's a quick preview of the instrumental that we'll be working with. We're just going to be working over an 8-bar section of this track. Check it out. Now the next thing you want to do, and this here is very important, make sure your vocalist actually does a test recording so that you can get the level set up correctly. Now there are a number of benefits of doing this. First of all, and the most obvious thing, is so that you can adjust the input signal going into your audio interface by adjusting the gain switch on the audio interface so that the signal being received by your DAW is appropriate. Now, as I've mentioned in the other videos, you want to aim for an optimum level of around -18 dB, or maybe slightly over. I generally give myself between -18 and -12, but certainly closer to -18. That should be your aim. And the reason for this, you check out in the other videos and you'll find out why. Now, another reason for getting your vocalist to actually do a test recording is sometimes you might pick up some real gems. Now, because the vocalist believes that this is just a test, there's less pressure on him or her, and therefore you often find that there's some real gold that you'll capture during recordings such as these. So make sure you record everything and keep everything. Now, as you can see right here, Carmen is doing her test recording, and the level I'm capturing is around about the mark I'm looking for. It's actually peaked at -15, but on average it's around about the -18 dB mark, which I'm perfectly happy with. Once that's done, it's time to record. Now, a great technique for recording vocals is this. Get your vocalist to record 3, 4, 5, 6 takes, and then either choose the best take or create a composite of different sections from the different takes. Both of those techniques are generally accepted practices in the professional domain. On this occasion, I'm just going to grab one take for the purpose of this video, as you can see right here. So let's go.
Can't explain how the way I feel. Ain't got the words, but there's something about you. Gotta know your name, won't you tell me? I can't help how I feel inside. While looking, I keep on dreaming. Gotta know your name, please tell me.
Okay, so we've got the recording of the verse. Now what we're going to do is put down a background vocal. In fact, we're going to do 2 sets of background vocals. However, unlike the main lead vocal performance, I need a more intimate, more closer sounding background vocal. So I'm going to ask Carmen to go closer to the microphone, as you can see, and deliver the vocal with a softer, smoother approach. Again, my process is to do a few takes and of course keep the very best one out of the lot.
Gotta know your name, won't you tell me? I can't help how I feel inside. While looking, I keep on dreaming. Gotta know your name, please tell me.
I haven't listened to the project so far. We've got a main vocal recorded. We've also got background vocals double tracked, and this is it so far.
Can't explain how the way I feel. Ain't got the words, but there's something about you. Gotta know your name, won't you tell me? I can't help how I feel inside. While looking, I keep on dreaming. Gotta know your name, please tell me.
And that's it really. Now the key things are: 1, make sure you get your vocalist to warm up properly. 2, take time to set up the microphone, the mic stand and the pop shield at an appropriate level and angle for your vocalist. 3, make sure that you get your vocalist to be at an appropriate position or distance from the microphone. 4, make sure you get your vocalist to perform the part while you set an appropriate recording level. 5, record multiple takes of the vocal and then keep the best one, or make a composite from parts of each of the recordings. 6, if you're doing background vocals, ask your vocalist to position themselves according to the kind of vibe you're looking for. And finally, just have fun. You know, this whole process is hard work, but it's also fun. Now, as always, it's great hearing from you. So make sure you drop me a comment, like, subscribe, and share the video with others. These key principles are really important, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Why not share it with others? Now, over the past few weeks, I've been working on a new project which I'll be releasing hopefully this summer, and I'm putting together some videos showing the behind the scenes process of getting this track done all the way through to the release. So I will be hitting you up with more videos on that. And just like the rest of the MTTC squad, make sure you have your notifications switched on to alert you when my next videos drop. Great having you here today, and I'll be back real soon. I'm Dr. Deuce. Peace.